Welcome to the channel. One more pack here with Patrick and Jason, and we're here to talk a little bit more Lorcana. The last we spoke, we had Shimmering Skies on the horizon, and now it is out, and we are seeing metas change. So we just wanted to talk some decks with you guys on what's going to come up next, how the meta is going to change, and some potential decks that you might be seeing at your stores on the weekend.
Yeah, I'm super excited to get into these. Just some kind of new ways to play the game, a couple new mechanics, and maybe some ways to make your opponent flip the table.
Hey, let's get right into it then, and let's talk about openings. Um, how much Lorcana have we opened, and where do we sit on Enchanteds?
Well, we've opened a case on stream that was super fun.
Yeah,
Uh,
always is.
I thought that case opening went really badly. Not gonna lie. There was no Mufasas, which is probably or was at least one of the most expensive legendaries of the set. Like very not great foil legendaries, no enchanteds. However, Clarabelle, which we saw a whole bunch of in that case, has shot up in value. I've got a deck previewing her a little bit later. And after that, I opened an extra three boxes, and those three boxes went pretty good. We got another enchanted, so bring our count to one for this set.
It's fair. It just came out.
And yeah, so we've opened seven boxes, and I would say compared to other sets, we're probably doing worse than average for enchanteds, but very good for like play sets of all the cards we want, like the good cards.
That's definitely worth it. Maybe that's something we could do in the future is start to do like a stat sheet on boxes and pull rates and stuff. That'd be actually fun to do.
Yeah, I'm down. That'd be cool. Maybe
Yeah.
for set six.
Ooh, we could, okay, let's set it up. We'll set it up. We're gonna need a couple cases though, just so you know.
Oh no, a couple cases.
Yeah, maybe 10 cases.
Well, okay. Whoa.
We need to give
Hey,
we need
slow
real
down.
numbers here. We need
Yeah,
real
that's fair.
numbers.
Um, First thing I have for you, in terms of deck ideas, I have a deck I made, and I'd like to introduce you to trying to get your opponent to flip the table.
Hey, let's get into it.
This is all about Pete. Pete, when you play this character, opponents can't play actions until the start of your next turn. So the deck is a very simple idea. Basically, you kind of play turn one, turn two, turn three, rather normally, turn four, normally, and then starting at turn five, you begin never-ending bouncing of Pete, locking everyone else out of actions.
Oh my goodness me.
So
Okay, so I didn't know what this I just to give the audience kind of some clarity. I actually didn't know what we were this deck he was going to talk about. This is a surprise to me, and that is a phenomenal idea. That's a great it is the discard, like you took the discard thing, like stopping people from playing the game, and you found another way to do it.
yeah. So I mean they're welcome to play characters and challenge, but we're never exerting our Pete unless bouncing them. We can play actions on our turn, which is great. And Pete can sing. Pete can sing Strength Raging Fire, Friends on the Other Side. So Pete's playing the game. So the deck's a very simple concept. Turn one, you got Chernobog and Mickey Mouse. This new Mickey Mouse, I think, is gonna be played a lot. Resist one is huge because most one drops have one or two attack. So he can trade with or survive pretty much all of them, which is awesome. So he can just sit there and quest a target for Snake if you need the extra body. Smee, a classic. We are running three Snake, four Fox, two Elephant, and two Camilo, another new card. Whenever the character quests, gain lore of the chosen other character of yours, and then return that character to your hand. And so all of that bounce power is basically just about keeping Pete play, Pete.
I think it's phenomenal. Well, okay, so actions, let's break it down because you said they can still play characters
Yep.
and they can still challenge.
Yes.
So what decks would this not go good against? Because there are some decks that wouldn't really rely so much on action cards or
So
songs.
yeah, so this really punishes decks. So that, for example, Ruby Amethyst or anything Ruby that has character play removal would be a counter to this. But really, the only thing that can target your Pete is a Madam Medusa. Everything else is your choice. So if you're keeping a couple characters on board and you're not exerting Pete, which you wouldn't because you're going to play him, quest with him, bounce him, play him again, he's kind of safe. So you prevent any B preps, you prevent B King Undisputed, um, and hopefully about half of their hand is useless.
I love it. And then what are you doing to get their characters off the board to stop them from whether it's challenging or out questing you to 20 lore?
So because we're playing a lot of bounce, I put in a lot of cards I felt like benefited from bounce as well. So Mr. Smee, you can save him with a bounce card after he damages himself, help you quest out quicker. Belle, Accomplished Mystic is maybe my favorite card in the whole game. Not that I can find her a spot in most decks, but I really enjoy the mechanic. 4 strength, you play her down, and then she can move damage. So that really can help you finish something off or save something of yours. You got the goats and the rabbits, pretty standard fare for any bounce. We have Tinkerbell in here to help us with some wide stuff. And then we've got our own standard removal with some standard steel removal cards. And then a couple additions here. We've got, first of all, Queen's Castle. Everyone knows this card. Really strong location. But then I also decided to include, because I feel like this could be very useful, the library. Whenever character is banished while here, you may draw a card. Gains 1 lore passively, which is very strong. Comes down turn 3, very strong. 8 health, that's a huge amount. And you have things like Fox that you can play for 3 and then only spend 1 to move it. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So that keeps you drawing, it keeps you kind of like flush with options and really puts them in a tough spot.
dude, I think this deck is hilarious. I think it might ruin the game. And I am scared to see, like not just this is like you might make tweaks to this as the days or weeks go on, but the concept of it is actually very, very interesting. Um, and that's all because of Pete, right? Like that's I love it. That's a great combo.
Nope, nobody plays any actions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to try this. I feel like it's funny and fun in kind of an annoying way, which is where I like to sit.
Is it play tested yet?
No, have not got a chance to play set 5 yet, but hopefully this Saturday.
And I think you should be buying up all the Pete's you can because that card is going to be worth a lot of money when this deck goes viral.
Yeah, it's gonna go from 55 cents to 75.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. If you buy 10,000 of them, that's some serious return on your investment.
Okay, should get introduce you to the guy who only buys goats.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, let's pivot to a deck you chose.
Okay, so I took a different approach to choosing decks that we talk about today. And you'll see in my next deck, which is the 4th deck we talk about today. But with this deck, I went on Dreamborn and I chose one of the most expensive decks that you can find. And in the other one, I chose one of the cheapest. And my whole idea is how much is it going to cost you to play the game and how good of a deck are you getting for the price that you play? So this is another new card, Naveen, Prince Naveen. If you want to zoom into that, you're running the computer
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Oh, coming up with his enchanted version. You basically get to play a free 6 cost song, 6 or less for free when you play this character, and in any Steel and Song like you like to play. Like I don't know, do you include Prince Naveen into your Steel Song decks?
I
Have you?
I've heard a couple people say that this is not an auto include. To me, it is an auto include.
I think it's an auto include. I think that is because instead of waiting a turn, like when you play this, you can play a song versus play this, wait a turn, give the opponent a chance to remove him off the board, and then play a song. To me, playing a song with him, you're basically playing 10 ink worth of cards in one turn of a 4 cost. So to me, it's huge. Everything in the deck is a standard, pretty standard Steel and Song. There's nothing too crazy here. Maybe Simba. This is a new card. Um, yeah, but what do you think? Worth the price?
Uh, I'm trying to find a way to see the price without moving us, but I don't think I can.
That's
So
620.
620, we got a little peek there. Okay, so I play a lot of Steel Song. Obviously, this is my primary color.
Yeah.
Um, I would make this list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it feels bad to skip out on the new usual Queen package,
Mhm.
but this looks solid. And I think if you've ever played a lot of Steel Song before, there are so many games where you, let's say Ariel, find a whole new world, and then you can't stick a singer for a couple turns. Having a Naveen just bomb a song, a whole new world onto the board, that's primo. That's amazing.
Huge.
Yeah, I really like it. I like you've included Gazelle here. I think this is a really strong card. The two quest is awesome.
When you say
Um,
you included, I just need to clarify. This was a trending deck, one of the most expensive ones I found. I did not make it. We can actually give credit to the person who did.
you really did your homework here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I forget there he is. Gaming Inkwell.
Gaming Inkwell, yeah. No, this is a very cool song. I'll give it a little favorite there. I would be excited to try this.
Yeah.
All right. This deck, color combo, we haven't seen too much up until this point. I got the idea from watching a couple days of Specie stream, I will say, so like also not our original idea. But I've tweaked it a little bit, added some cards I think would be useful. And this deck is kind of gross in terms of how much ink you can get. So the plan here is to ramp, 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 and then play Clarabelle. Clarabelle has an insane ability at the end of your turn. So there's no opponent interaction here. As soon as I end my turn after playing her, the effect takes place. If chosen opponent has more cards in their hand than you may draw until you have the same number. So, how do we get the most value out of this? Well, that's dumping our hand over and over again. We're playing Bell. We're inking twice per turn with Bell. We're playing Fishbone Quill. We're inking 3 times with Fishbone Quill and Bell. So we're just like get cards out of our hand, ramp, 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 and Clarabelle. How do we keep their hand full? Simple. We put characters and back into their hand. We have 3 cards that do that pretty nicely. Gothel, Gothel, and the Muses. By the way, this has to be the best art in the set, or top 2 at least. Um, so we're just putting stuff back into their hand. We're even using things like You're Welcome to get them to draw more cards, right? Get rid of that key item or location or problem that I'm facing. They draw 2 more cards, but hey, if you draw 2 more cards at the end of my turn, I'm also going to draw 2 more cards. And so you just stack your deck with this ramp, and then all of a sudden you're dumping your hand over and over and over again. I included Mufasa in this because I feel like you're getting to 8, 10, 20 ink fairly regularly with this deck. And when you play this character, exert all your inkwell, then return 2 cards at random from your inkwell to your hand. Huge. Whenever this character quests, ready all cards in your inkwell. So if I have a Mufasa on board, I can play 20 ink worth of stuff, quest, and start all over again.
It's huge. It's huge. You do need to get a little bit later into the game, I find. Like I know you're ramping, but I feel like the playability to get there will take a bit. Like I think you might have trouble with like an aggro deck, for example. But also being able to return cards to their hand could slow them down, which is nice.
I think aggro would be a problem for this. But
Yeah.
on the ramp side, we've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 cards dedicated to ramp. We're ramping.
Well, 100%. This deck is getting up there. But for sure you're gonna run into an aggro deck that you're gonna be focused on dealing with their deck which will slow down your ramp. You won't be able to play cards unless you just ignore it and hope you get there quicker.
No, that's true. I think probably I would, if I was to, scrutinize this deck, I'd probably find a way to include a couple one drops. Maybe develop your brain, something like that. But I think the bones here are strong, and it just needs to be fleshed out a little bit more.
Absolutely agree. And you want to pull up Clarabelle one more time for the viewers there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this card I think is going to be meta defining.
Yeah. So that's the card that the deck is built around. And again, it's at the end of your turn, if you choose an opponent has more cards in their hand than you may draw cards until you have the same number.
Yep.
And that happens every turn it's played. It's not the first time, it's there, and every time at the end of the turn you re up your cards to match them, just to get some clarity there, right?
Yeah, yeah. It is it's a lot. Like you could draw I mean if you make them draw cards on top of, like, oh my gosh, the math on this is so crazy
They
because
would have to get rid of
it's
this card immediately.
but you're also dumping your hand so quickly. So even if you got rid of it, like odds of me drawing another one and then having enough ink to play two cards is pretty high.
Yeah.
Six
Yeah.
body, like there's not a lot of steel removal that hits six. None with one shot. Doesn't die to Medusa. Dragonfire can kill it, on curve. But I mean, this is a beast.
Pretty cool.
All
I,
right.
I I like it.
All right,
Um
what's the theme behind this deck?
I already said it. I already said it. So, and this is like a strictly comparison, cheap versus expensive. We saw Naveen's Choice. That's a great Steel and Song deck that comes in at a huge price tag, and we're going in the opposite direction. So this is coming in under $100. Obviously, you're not going to have that enchanted Mickey Mouse there. And this is your standard broom set. This is going to be for set 5 broom. If you want to just scroll up a little bit, it's harder to do when you're controlling the board. So CZ Vegas, and they made a set 5 brooms deck, and they come in at $80.22. Um, my brother Jason here, when you make your decks, you put a lot of thought into like how it's going to be played and stuff. And all I think of is who on earth has $360 for that deck and $500 for this deck and $400 for this deck. And I'm thinking, these are real people who need to spend $80 on a deck. Give the people something they can afford. $80, set 5 brooms. Do you think this could match up with one of your decks?
Yeah, I mean, so there is a thing about any aggro deck into any matchup has a decent shot because for someone to counter aggro, you need to draw the correct cards. Aggro always has the correct cards because they're so low to the ground. We've got 12, 16, 20, 24, 28 cards here that are less than 3 or 3 ink. That's huge.
Coming
This
at you
deck
quick.
is so consistent. A couple good shift targets for Mickey Mouse. Don't hate that. Some, again, low to the ground costing removal spells, location. Grab your swords is probably the most expensive thing at 5. Oh, you get a 6 here with the other magic. I think this could definitely win games. It probably isn't the most winning deck, but you could steal games off of people with a deck like this.
Yeah, and I like looking at the contrast, and I think that I've actually played against broom decks in the past, and I love when there are themes that come at you and they actually work well together. So, and this is one of them that I think can be annoying to play.
I think
Um,
it would be annoying.
it,
Especially when you're not expecting it and they just start going really quickly.
yeah,
Busting out a sorcerer's tower, who's expecting to see that?
and once you see it, you know what you're in for, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, some new cards in this set. Looks like the Mickey Mouse Resist. I think we're gonna see that everywhere now. But other than that, it looks like more of a set 4 list aside from Mickey Mouse. Yeah, yeah. Interesting.
All right.
Very cool though. Uh,
So we went over a couple decks here, a couple that you made, a couple that I scoped out for other reasons. And how does this play into the meta? How is the meta going to change?
Well, hyper aggro, I think, will be online this set. What was a card we looked at in your first deck here? This is a meta defining card. 1 cost, 2 quest, 4 body. And unlike the Golden Harp, she doesn't just kill herself every turn.
Yeah,
This is crazy. When you think about how strong 2 quest is early game, like we'll just like math out uh uh an early game. So let's say I'm on the play. So turn one, I play Daisy Duck. You play another 1 cost. No 1 cost can kill this. So I quest for 2. Maybe you play it. Let's say you quest and like play a snake, which is like the biggest body 3/2 drop you can have roughly, right? Great. I'm gonna quest again. So I have 4 lore from her. If I drop a bodyguard or another 2 of these, right? Well, I'm at 4. You hit her with the snake. She's still not dead. I quest, and then even if you do that and then drop 2 more people, let's say like a 1 and a 2 again, I quest again. So I've gotten 6 lore out of her before you reasonably have a chance to get rid of her. Let's say those other 2 bodies I dropped were 2 more daisies or 2 other 1 drops or 2 drops I quest.
you're
I'm
at
at
10 or
suddenly
12.
10 lore on turn 3. I drop a bodyguard like a blue or something. You kill that. That gets me another 2 lore. I'm at 12. You kill this finally. You still have the other 2 1 drops I play. Like, you're talking about like 16-ish lore before the person has a chance at clearing your board.
And
That's
yeah,
terrifying.
you're talking about doing that all like that person's main focus is clearing this stuff. They're not even worried about what their deck construction was to get ahead.
Yeah.
You need to stop this hyper aggro approach to the game, and you don't even have a chance to be like, wait, what was my strategy coming into this? What's my win condition? So
So traditionally, Steel Song has been very good against hyper aggro because you're just pinging off all these low things with low songs. That's what I want to do as a Steel Song player. But you add this Daisy Duck into the mix, and it's like, even if you're on the play, so turn one you play Cinderella, turn two or turn one I play Daisy Duck. Your only card in your deck that really helps you next is Ursula, the 2 drop. Which I don't know if we have it here as well. No, she's not in this list. So she's a singer 4. I quest for 2, and then so you have to have the Ursula 2 drop on curve, and you have to have a Zeus. That's the only way to get rid of her on your turn 3. Otherwise, you're pinging her for 2 songs to get rid of her, maybe. Like, and that's not including what I play next. Like, this is so scary. The extra 1, like being a 1/4, not a 1/3,
huge.
makes a world of difference. Like, huge, huge difference.
Yeah, 2 turns to clear instead of 1. That's what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
So
So
hyper
hyper.
aggro
Yeah.
online. I think hyper control online. Player
Mm-hmm.
bell is dump your hand, ramp. This is gonna get real scary in different decks. We haven't even talked about shifting her yet. Playing her in Steel Emerald, which might still be a thing. Morph might be really good this set because there's a lot more like the more shiftable things that come out, the more things Morph can hit. This is terrifying as well. You've got Pete, I think, which is going to interrupt a lot of like standard plays. It's turn 6. Any deck has to be, aware of like, do I go wide? Turn 7 is B prep. If I play Pete, turn 7 is not B prep. That's huge, massive.
Yeah. Playing
Uh,
that at the right time. Or if you can chain play it like you were talking about.
well,
If you
I
can
mean, if
chain play it, then you're set. Or if you can just know what your opponent you like, oh, I know you want to beat prep. And I'm like, I'm gonna catch you right before you're about to do it. Yeah.
sometimes all you need to swing a game is 1 turn.
Yeah.
This buys you 1 turn. Um, there I think there is a room more than any other set before. There's room for creativity in set five because a lot of these mechanics are a little bit nuanced. And I think kind of um, set four kind of doubled down on some mechanics we already had, right? Like discard, for example, that shot to the moon, and Ruby Sapphire that shot to the moon. Like they whatever they were planning to do before, they got better at. I don't think anyone got better at the thing they were trying to do before this set, but they definitely got more options now. They got different ways to get there. You have to play around this now.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
This is huge.
It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see the shift in mechanics and the shift in play, and to start seeing the different color combinations start creeping out there. Yeah, it's going to be a fun time in the Disney Lorcana community. Speaking of that, you do have Toronto coming up. Are you excited?
I'm pumped. I'm nervous. Toronto is the 3-week meta. So Bucky is banned for the first time, or not banned, but like errata essentially.
Yeah.
And so that leaves us 3 weeks before Toronto in a meta that will only exist until Toronto. And then as soon as Toronto's over, you move on to set five. So we just got this little window where this one tournament has this one set of rules.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's going to be really interesting.
You're doing a lot of testing, and you're deciding what deck you want to bring to Toronto. Did you want to do that in a separate video, or you want to talk about it now? How you feeling?
We can talk about it for a quick minute. We won't spend too long on it. One deck people have seen similar lists before, talked about a similar list when I won my Ursula. So this is just a very standard purple steel deck. There's nothing special about it, really. I've taken cards out, put cards in a couple times to this deck, just trying to like tweak it and kind of make it more tournament ready, because you got to win best of twos, so that becomes a big factor. I would say that I'm kind of happy with this deck, but I'm not 100% there yet. I probably won't bring it, but I might still. Like, I still have to play it a little bit more. And then I've also been testing Steel Song. Again, just like Steel Song has kind of weaknesses I'm very familiar with. Running out of steam, not finding a whole new world can be devastating. Having it ripped from your hand can even be more devastating. Again, with flutes, though, to go a little bit faster, to be more a little bit tournament kind of quick to win best of twos. Steel Song I like because it can just steamroll somebody without them to have a chance to play back. However, you can also just run out of steam and then die out halfway through the game.
Yeah.
It's tough. It is really tough to think of a deck that I'm going to like to play, that I'm good at playing, and that's going to win consistently.
Well, it will be exciting to see what you come up with. I think the next time we'll be here talking will be after Toronto, maybe then. So then we'll get to find out where you placed, how you did, what deck you brought.
I finished Chicago with 37 points. So my goal is to do better than that.
40 points?
Let's go 45 and make day 2.
45 and make day 2. All right, I love it. Love to hear it. Thanks again for watching. If you're still around, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I'm sure you already are. And we'll chat soon.
Thanks for watching.
Take care, everybody.